Today we're going to talk about the Border Patrol PT Final. What does it consist of, and what are some recommendations that PT instructors themselves give about preparing for this very important test that many trainees fail? So, the biggest thing is the mile-and-a-half run in 13 minutes or less. And this is probably the part of the Border Patrol PT Final that most trainees who fail the final fail because it seems to be the most challenging part of the exam. So you will basically be running on a normal sized track and you will be going around 6 times. So the next part is the 220-yard sprint in 46 seconds or less. That also takes place on the track. And very few trainees actually fail the sprint just because it's a pretty straightforward process. And after nearly 6 months of training, it is more a test of speed than it is your endurance. The other part of the Border Patrol Final PT exam is a confidence course, and this needs to be completed in 2 minutes and 30 seconds or less. The confidence course allowance of time is pretty generous for the obstacles that you're going to be doing. There's going to be an inverted wall that you will climb up and over. Then you will be able to get up on a rope and either shinny across this way. You can put your hands over top of it and throw your legs up and kind of do the possum. They don't really care how you navigate the obstacles as long as you navigate them. After you come down off of that, there's going to be a long jump that you will make. Then you will kind of navigate back and forth in between like this little running agility part. Then you'll hop up onto a long beam, kind of like a balance beam, and you go across that. You'll hop up and over some small agility jumps, pretty easy. And after that, you'll hop over a couple of lower walls. They're lower than the initial wall. You'll go kind of like monkey bars. Some people will go forwards like this. It's actually a lot easier if you use the sides to go one arm, all the way down the sides. And after that, you will do like style agility, going through ropes that have little squares in them. And then after that, you'll kind of duck down and kind of duck walk, crawl through like two walls that have rope netting over them. So you're not like belly crawling because you can kind of stand, but it's more like a duck walk. And then the last obstacle, you'll just climb up to the top of a ladder and tap the top, say your class number. So it's really, the C course is pretty straightforward. It's not a complex thing to do. You will need probably more grip strength than you might anticipate, just going across the rope and doing some different things like that. So for the final, most people, if they're going to fail it, they're going to fail the mile-and-a-half run, not the other portions. So let's talk a little bit about how to prepare. And these are all things that my PT instructors have shared, or other PT instructors have said that they wished more trainees would take into consideration. So I think one of the things that's happening now is because the hiring process has changed so much and they removed the second physical fitness test that actually involved running the mile-and-a-half, trainees are showing up at the academy in less than ideal shape. Let's just say that. So one of the things that you can do to help yourself have a better overall PT experience is, if you're overweight or obese, losing some of that excess weight, beginning to lose that, because it's going to improve so many aspects of your health, your endurance, and your strength. Your body is going to have to carry less weight further, so it's less taxing on your different systems. So if at all possible, if you can begin a safe weight loss program, if you need that, if you need to talk to your doctor, physician, etc., and begin losing, even losing 5 to 10 pounds can make a huge difference in how winded you feel and how much you're having to carry as you complete your training. So consider that. If that is something that you need to address, please start working on that. Stretch before you run. Warm up, cool down. All these things can help you prevent injuries, which is another big thing that happens to trainees. They get really excited about, oh, I'm going to the academy, I'm going to get ready, let's do this. And sometimes they neglect the stretching, the warm-ups, the cool downs. I know when I went to the academy for the first time, I did not consider stretching and warm up to be necessary things. However, the second time I went to the academy, I did do those things and I had a lot better results. So don't underestimate the power of taking 5 or 10 minutes to stretch and warm up and also kind of cool yourself down, because the last thing you want to do is get an injury right before the academy. Next is to train for strength, but also for stamina and for endurance. So a lot of people will go to the gym and they will lift weights, which is fine, but they may skip out on the calisthenics or the multiple sets of high reps of calisthenics and body weight exercises that are the bread and butter of the physical conditioning that you're going to be doing at the academy. There's so much calisthenics. I cannot stress that part enough. But just consider training for those things. Consider giving your stamina and giving your endurance the same weight as you are your strength. Also, grip strength, farmer carries, working on your forearms can be really helpful as you consider preparing for the C course. You can't really prepare for the C course ahead of time because there just isn't one. But the best thing you can do is work on that grip strength. The next thing that PT instructors say is getting proper nutrition, proper fuel for your body, eating the things that you need, getting enough protein, vitamins, minerals, all the things, and healthy foods instead of eating junk food and trash and drinking a lot of soda. Eat clean if you can before you arrive at the academy. And then when you're there at the academy, they do have a full cafeteria with a salad bar. They've got grilled chicken. They've got a lot of choices there. And PT instructors would just encourage you to make good choices about your nutrition and really fuel your body so that it can perform at its best. Hydration is something that they will start harping on you about from the very first emails that you get from the Border Patrol Academy. You'll have recommendations about how much water you should be drinking, how much water you should be drinking per hour, even ounces per hour, food, and the climate. It's very, very arid in Artesia. It's at a much higher altitude, and so you may find that your body has different demand with respect to the hydration. So don't be surprised by that. Next is recovery and sleep. Like, especially younger people, well, recovery, they don't really put very much emphasis on it, but it's not necessarily the lifting or the calisthenics or the running that are the things that build your muscles. Those things break down your muscles. They give you little micro tears. And it's the time that you recover when you're refueling yourself that your body repairs. And that recovery time is when you're building the muscles, when you're repairing the little damage that you have done to grow those muscles. So be sure you're getting really good recovery time. You're getting rest days when you need them. You can even do active rest days. When I say rest, it doesn't necessarily mean you just take a few days off. You can still be walking, you can still be jogging, you can still be being active during your recovery period. And then sleep, the body does so much of its repair during sleep. So try to prioritize the amount of sleep that your body needs. Some people need a little bit more, some people need a little bit less, depending on age and other things. And if you have kids or a loud house or a lot going on, it can be difficult to get enough sleep when you're at the academy. Whether you have a roommate or the room next door is loud, you may want earplugs, eye mask, blackout curtains, something to really protect your sleep, because sleep hygiene is a thing. So don't underestimate the role that recovery and sleep play in helping you to perform at your best and be able to pass this final exam. So the last thing, and this is something that you may not necessarily think about when you're thinking about the PT final, and that is what is going on with your mind. That mental toughness and resiliency, being able to show up day in, day out, handle the uncomfortable situations that are happening, the OC spray and being tased and the running and all the different things that are happening to you, and keeping a good attitude about that, keeping a good mindset, not being the person that's complaining, not being the person that is not taking things seriously, not being the know-it-all. You want to be very coachable. You want to come with an open mind. And that is something that PT instructors have said time and time again. They don't want trainees coming in thinking that they know it all. They want you to be able to be coachable, to be respectful, and to really do the things that they're telling you to do. So that is important. That falls in more the attitude category, and then also your discipline. Like, what are you doing to discipline yourself now before you come? Are you getting up early? Are you getting your workouts done regularly? Are you keeping those promises that you make to yourself? Because that discipline is a personal characteristic that you can also grow. It's kind of like a muscle. The more you do the things that you set out to do and that you tell yourself to do, the more discipline that you will build, and you'll start becoming that person that you say that you are. So those are the how to prepare tips directly from PT instructors, my own PT instructors that I have had, and then other instructors that have been talking about academy preparation for trainees. And I think you'll find that if you choose a few of these to work on, you can really give yourself a better chance at the PT final, the 1.5 mile run, the sprint, and the C course. If you have questions, please drop them below, and I would love to hear which part of the Academy PT final you might be feeling the most anxiety about.